Jay, and here we go. We are getting into spring. We're getting into the nice weather. Soon we're going to be broadcasting from outdoors instead of indoors because I plan on
I would love that.
living every moment outside in the summer. But we don't be spitting that all over the computer. We're gonna have a little catastrophe going here in the morning. But Monday Mayhem, where we pick the topic live, and I love Mondays because spontaneity and picking the topic live is just so friggin' cool. It's start of the week, start of all the new opportunities, and today is going to be awesome. I've got about 15 new topics in here, so I'm wondering if we're going to pick one.
Oh,
to the HPLS podcast. Live, relevant, and high performance information, conversations, and education weekly. What? Good morning, Lisa. Yeah. Happy Monday. Jeff says morning. And then morning.
Morning.
Yeah, he started off not yelling, then he started yelling at us. Good morning, 5SK. We got 5SK in the house. Not sure who that is, but good morning to you, my friend.
Good morning.
All right. So, DJ, this weekend, I sat down and I started just reviewing a lot of notes, a lot of conversations with students, with colleagues, with friends. So I threw about probably 15 to 17 new topics in here.
All right.
So, and part of me says we should probably just take the new topics, but I've already mixed them in. So it's kind of like a Rubik's Cube. And even though Mark Ridley figured out the Rubik's Cube on his Turks and Caicos holiday, I'm not going to figure it out. But what we're going to do is if y'all have been watching for a while, DJ's very hesitant on saying stop when it comes to Monday Mayhem. Yeah. And what? You are?
I usually am, but I was going to actually do it early this time.
Oh, okay. Because I was going to say I'm going to do it like this. So I was going to say I'm going to speed it up for y'all because DJ is hilarious because every time we do it, you're like, and in my head I'm going, is he going to fucking pick something already? Like, all right, are you ready?
Right, let's do it.
All
right, stop right there.
All right. Oh, Operation Audibles.
Oh.
And I don't see that we've done this.
We have not.
Okay. So this is actually a really good one. Because, we talk a lot about sales on the show, whereas operations, that's a really big part of keeping clients. Sales bring in the clients, ops keeps the clients. Yes. And so Operations Audible. So here's a couple of things. I wrote down 4 different things, right? So me when it comes to audibles, the first 3 questions, doing right, doing wrong, what can we improve on?
Yes, sir.
Those to me are probably the top 3 questions in any category, any department that you can ask to at least get a baseline, right? Like, where are we at? So operations, as a sales team, or as a salesperson, ask your ops, like, what am I doing right?
Yes.
What am I doing wrong? And what can I improve on to make your job easier? Right. Yeah. Then number 2 was take action within 24 hours, update clients on actions and timelines, and review. I put 14, 30, 45, and 60 days. So pretty much like every 2 weeks or every month or every 2 months or every, that kind of thing. Yeah. So we'll dive into it. I'll let you start with it and we'll kind of run from there, brother.
Okay. Yeah. No, well, so obviously the structure, guys, if you heard what he said, it's the same asking the questions of the ops team asking the salesperson as you would the salesperson ask your client. But really communication with him explaining that communication's key, especially if things are not going right. Don't hold it in. Operations team, I've had that. I've seen it. I've seen it firsthand. So I did not. First brokerage I was at, I guess I wasn't cool enough, or didn't make it long enough to have an LC or an assistant, or an ops person. So I did all of the ops. I've pretty much done all the ops until just recently. But so I'm very familiar with the ops and how it really is. It's so sales is you kind of telling them what you're going to do, and ops is you actually doing it. So
DJ, you brought up. Sorry to interrupt, but you brought up probably one of the biggest points when it comes to sales ops. As a salesperson, you typically do your ops to start,
Yeah.
right? Until you get enough GP in under your belt,
Correct.
where a logistics coordinator, an ops person, an ops team. So there's a big thing when it comes to you doing your own ops versus somebody else doing it. They're never going to do
Yes.
it the way you do it. You're always going to
Never.
think they're not doing it as fast as you do it. And the reality is, no one is ever going to do it to the level that you do it or that you perceive you do it at. Right? Ever, 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 ever,
I
ever, ever,
agree.
ever.
I
Right?
agree.
Like
Yeah.
never. If
Yeah.
you are a salesperson and you move into a manager position and somebody else moves into your position, they are not going to do it the way, quote unquote, you did it. Right?
Yes.
So that is the first part that you must be able to get over. Like you
Yes.
must, or else you're
You
just going
have
to
to.
drive yourself nuts.
It will eat you alive. Yeah.
Yeah.
It
Oh,
will.
yeah. I mean,
And
I
I've
remember
seen it. I've seen
vividly.
it.
Oh, vividly. But think,
Oh
when
man.
you did get your ops, right? Because you were in the position where you didn't have ops, and not that
Yes.
you weren't in that cool kid crowd. You just hadn't built up the business. It's just
Yeah.
what it
Yeah.
is.
Exactly.
But when you do, it's like you're so excited to get them, and then within a week,
Yes.
you're like,
But then you're so
"Holy shit, this
scared.
is driving me nuts!" Because
Yes.
they're not doing things either to the speed, to the caliber, and you know, if you're in ops, when you get that second ops person in and you have to train them, like, and this is one
Yes.
thing that so many people, I'm going to say, don't realize, or maybe neglect to put ahead, is
Mhm.
when new ops people come in, when you switch from a salesperson and giving your ops way, there's always an increased workload. Always. Like if you have a head of ops and you're bringing in a second person, that head of ops has more work to do because they're training. And
Yep.
and how many times have we heard, "Oh, just give it to me, I'll just do it."
Yeah. Oh
And
yeah.
it's not helping. But what we
No. No.
do,
You got
no, we do.
delegation is the key. You have to learn
Yes, but
delegation.
there's a ramp up period.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
you
I
see, and
agree.
one thing that I've seen in my personal career, and I'd love to hear about you,
Yeah.
is
Yeah.
a lot of companies, either from a lack of personnel or just from a lack of desire to spend the money, or let's call a third one, call a spade, salespeople shooting BS out their arse, that they're going to land all these accounts and they don't.
Yeah.
The investment in ops is not pre-business, it's post-business,
Yeah.
which creates a whole other whirlwind of challenges in our ops teams. And so if you're in that position where you're in a position of growth right now, or you're in a position where, like, you're going bonkers because you want to grow, your first thing to do is look at the ops. Because if you sell, and I vividly, man, I've seen this so
Uh,
many times. It's like we land an account and the volume comes in so heavy. And even
yes.
if that volume is 10 loads a week, like, or 5 loads a week, in today's market, 5 loads a week in a new lane that you're not sure about could take hours every day to complete, to book, to make sure they show up, to retrain, or sorry, retrain,
Exactly.
reorganize with your suppliers and get everything hands down.
Just to
Like,
get on the same page as your suppliers.
there you go. Perfect way to say it, DJ. And that takes time out of what they're already doing. So if they're already
Uh-huh.
stretched to the brink, you've just like snapped that
Yeah, yes.
line, and
Yes.
it's one account. And if you've got 5 more in the pipeline, like, it's tough. It's tough. But so there's that part of it, right? There's
There
that
is
that
that part.
initiating part. But then there's sales audibles.
Yeah.
And the operation, excuse me, audibles is done consistently.
Hmm.
And it's done, I say, a minimum of every quarter with your team, and say, like, hey,
Should
listen,
be.
like, as a sales team, as a salesperson, how can I make it better? What can I do? Like, what are we doing right? What are we doing wrong? What can we improve on?
Hmm.
And the second part of this is, within 24 hours, get it done. Like, if you say to an ops person, hey, I want to put this or what am I doing wrong? And they're like, bang, bang, me, like, okay, listen, I'm going to fix that. Like, within 24 hours, put something into place towards fixing it. Because again,
Yes.
we're human. If somebody comes to me and says, Dan, I want to make your life easier, what am I doing wrong? And I say XYZ, and 2 weeks later, they haven't implemented XYZ. Like, how does that make you feel?
Mm.
Right. And
Yes.
like, DJ, you and I both know, right? When the ops team's not happy, when there's frustration,
Yeah.
customers feel it. And
Yes.
there's a flip
Yes.
side to it. When we as salespeople our ops team are not performing, customers hear it. They hear it in our voice. They hear it in our confidence. And
Yeah.
we're literally an ecosystem. And I think that's, when I
I,
realized that
I,
sales and ops
I
are an
love that you said it that
ecosystem.
way.
Well,
Yeah,
yeah, we are, brother, because
we
we
really
can't
are.
live without the other, right?
Yeah,
Like in sales, you can't keep a customer without ops. And I'm sorry,
that's
ops, you can't bring in business without sales because you would never have business to start with. And it's a two-way street. And there's always been
team.
this,
We have to remember
sales
in the end,
operations,
it's a
sales
team.
marketing.
I mean, it
Yeah,
literally is a team.
it
And
is.
I think that was the hardest part about the first brokerage. Again, so guys, different brokerages I've been at, but the first brokerage, any broker that didn't make it as a broker, basically, couldn't land the accounts, but still wanted to learn. They became what they called an LC or logistics coordinator. And I think that was part of the disconnect was, there's that ego, the sales reps who could make it thinking, oh, well, this guy can't make it. Just do my, and it's like, you
Oh, hold
can't
on.
do
Whoa, whoa,
that.
whoa, 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 whoa. Hold on. So you mean
I'm
to
just
tell me
telling
at
you,
the place
this is the way it
at the
is.
place you were at, people that
Uh,
couldn't make it as a salesperson went into ops?
Yes, that was their opportunity. So if they did not, they liked doing the ops work, doing the covering the trucks, the check calls, all of those things that the ops team does. They were allowed to then get like a smaller salary, join up on a team of another broker, and then the broker would pay. It was still paying and
You
still
know what?
covering.
Yes, I've actually seen that. Yes,
Yeah.
where they think,
And,
okay,
and,
you know
and
what,
I
you're
think
just
that's where
not
the
making.
disconnect was a lot was because
Mm,
it was the arrogance of some of the reps and that kind of thing. But it's again, you have to
brother.
remember the ops team is crucial. They're your team. They are part of. They're what makes your customer happy in the end.
Mm.
You got to
And,
make them
and
happy.
let's face it, some salespeople are really tough to get along with. Right?
Yes.
Some ops, I mean, just sorry, people in general, some people are just really tough to get along with. Ops people are
Yes.
tough to get along with. Sales people are tough to get along with. My first ops team, my whole approach, and I'm so sorry that I did this to you for years, was, are you my ops? Yeah, then fucking get it done. And
Oh
I'd walk
shit.
away. And no joke.
Listen,
I mean,
I've seen it, so I know. I've seen that.
yeah,
Yeah.
as
I was-
embarrassed as I am about it, that was my attitude. And as I say it, I'm just like, I'm actually shocked at myself. But I had that ego,
but
18 years old, doing really well in
exactly,
the
younger
business. It
younger
was like,
sales. I was gonna say you were
yeah,
younger, and I'd say we.
yeah.
It's like the trail of a salesperson. You kind of like you see that. Oh well, I think I have to be this. Andy Paul said it best in his book. But yeah, I think I have to be this fast talking, shady douchebag to be a good salesperson. No,
Hmm.
you don't. You just have to
Hmm.
help people. That's it.
Hmm.
But yeah, it
And
was.
yeah, oh yeah, yeah.
Oh,
And if you ever watch any of these, I apologize. I am so sorry, but
yes,
it's that I pay your salary, right? Sorry, I apologize. In the company I was at, we paid a portion of the ops salary.
yes, yeah.
And it's
Same
like,
thing.
I pay your salary,
Yeah,
just do what I say you need to do. And
that's
almost like there was I wouldn't allow them to have a voice. I wouldn't allow them to have, and now I'm like, bring your ops team to your sales meetings. Like, they
yes,
add such a huge piece of the puzzle. And don't
right.
get me wrong,
Total
brother, I
mind
still
shift.
I still have business
To-
right now. And I still operate under the assumption the ops team knows what I'm talking about. Right. And just like 2 weeks ago, had some new lanes come up. I'm like, hey guys, da 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 da, and it email comes back. It says, hey, like, what kind of equipment? What? And I'm like, shit, sorry, man. I should have realized that you, I'm not the only salesperson here, and my business is spread out amongst a bunch of companies. You might forget, so I should probably put the information, because again, I don't want 9 emails back and forth about
yeah,
the same thing. Like, can we not get it accomplished in one email? You know what I mean? I see some massive
I see
comments
some
coming in
great
here. So,
comments.
okay.
Yeah, let's do this
So,
in.
so Lisa, so first things first. Joanna, happy Monday.
Hey, happy
Yes,
Monday,
absolutely.
Joanna.
And then Lisa says things happen for a reason, right up my alley.
Uh,
This is exactly what I need to hear.
yes, good, good.
Thank you,
Well,
Lisa. Thank you. Sending a how are we doing survey to your customers, asking hard for questions for your customers to answer is the best way to improve relationships. 100%.
agreed,
And you know
agreed.
what? Asking that of your team as well.
I think
Like,
yes,
it goes
both
beyond
yes, the
ops. Ask it
salespeople
of your accountant.
and your ops team. If you
100%.
have an ops team,
Yeah.
make that conversation. Treat them like your clients. Watch
Yeah.
out, watch out,
Well,
watch out. Things
they
change.
all are. Like, so here's the thing. If you're a manager, every single person in your department, your accounting team are your customers. That's the way you have to think about it. And if you're an owner, everyone is your customers, your salespeople, your ops people, your invoicing, your office staff, your receptionist. They're all your customers. They're not just a friggin' receptionist. They're your customers. And if you lose sight of that, you're losing. That's all there is to it. And you know what? There's a lot of people out there that lose constantly, but they put really good people around them that believe in that. Yeah. And so they don't necessarily have to have the belief. All their other people have the belief, but everyone is your customer. Everyone in your business is your customer. And once if you treat everyone like your customer, huge. Lisa says it took me years to get to the point where I could pass my baby along. 100%.
Yes. Lisa, it is like your baby. It really is like, but that's a business. I think that's where business owners even get stuck in this. I created this and now I'm here, but oh man, I'm so scared you're going to destroy it. No, you just have to have faith and really just keep that pulse and keep the communication. Communication's key.
The number one difficulty for a salesperson is letting go of the business.
Yes.
And I'm not saying losing the business. I'm saying letting go of the business. Yeah. Letting go of, like Lisa said, years to get past the baby along and to be fully removed. Like as a sales rep, there's levels, right? So yes, I'm not in the day-to-day, but I still get the emails.
Yeah.
And then I dig into the email and I start calling ops, asking questions, and ops is like, just let me do my job.
Just leave me alone.
Let me do what I need to do. Stop. And that's the thing, right, DJ? There's this very fine line. Like it's as thin as a razor's edge between micromanaging and pissing everybody off and being on top of things. Right? That finger on the pulse.
Trust. Listen,
you push just a little too hard and you cut that pulse off. And then once you micromanage, you're in a world of hurt. Because it's funny, you could be the best manager on the planet, and then you micromanage for like a week, and nobody forgets to micromanage.
Game over.
Right? It's crazy, and then it takes so much longer to get back to where you are. So you're absolutely right, Lisa. It's the toughest thing.
It is tough.
A salesperson can do is pass off their business. Neglect to push ahead. I'm fearful of the second ops person. So yes, Lisa,
you just got to trust your first ops person. I would say that's the key, right? I mean, if you trust them enough. There's a couple
to it, right, DJ? There's a little bit more to it. And the reason I say that is because, if you're at a company and you get a second ops person, like they've hired, they've vetted, they've done all this. Lisa's an agent, right? So your concern as an agent is you hire, you don't vet properly, they take the information, they leave. There's always that concern. My suggestion would be to anyone who is that, look to somebody you know, right? Like look at somebody you know and say, okay, do you have a friend?
That's who I went to, actually.
Yeah, go to your corporate.
My ops guy is,
go to your corporate and say, is there any ops people or any sales people or anyone that, is not happy where they are, that they might want to change departments or go to a new agent or whatever. I've always started with people I knew. Like even when I was in corporate and the company was hiring. Yeah. And I'm like, okay, I know people in ops that I think would be really good for these projects or these customers. I'd go out and talk to them. And then I'd go to my manager and say, hey, like, listen, I know you've been having trouble finding people. I found somebody that and it worked great. It worked great. There's a way around it. And I understand that fear because, our industry for some reason is like crippled with fear and secrecy. I know companies that are like, we've signed NDAs and it's like, we're going through, we're trying to do projections and I'm coming in as a consultant showing them projections. And it's like, okay, so what is this? Well, click and the screen closes. And I'm like, what are you doing? They're like, well, it's sensitive information. I'm like, I signed an NDA. Like, okay, obviously maybe I need to work on me being more comforting to you, but it's like the paranoia in our industry is insane.
It's terrible.
Insane. And Lisa, I can share, if you're serving those customers and you're not gouging them from a profit perspective and you're doing everything you need to do to service them. I mean, listen, whether this person has inside information or not, somebody's calling your customers every day.
Yes.
Like that is salespeople we need to understand.
I'm so glad you brought that up, Dan. It really, Lisa, it comes down to the relationship, guys. This is where, if you're a transactional person, if you're a transactional salesperson, just trying to move freight for these people, you're going to lose them. But if you have that relationship, don't worry. I mean, I had it. I've been to, I think, 4 or 5 different brokerages, and I could tell you the second brokerage that I was with signed all the fancy paperwork of not going after, but ended up leaving them. And literally, part of it was not going after they won't go after my customers. I won't go after theirs within a year. And my customer's like, hey, dude, they're already calling me. I'm like, whatever, it is.
Yeah.
But,
I mean,
and
that's
but it's the
the
relationship.
industry, unfortunately.
Yeah, it is the industry,
Right.
unfortunately.
100%. And listen, there's going to be that fear, Lisa. There's going to be that fear. But you also need to stand at the edge of uncertainty, take a breath and jump, because it could be the greatest thing. It might not.
Yes.
And there's also another thing I say, hire fast, fire faster.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
And
even if you hire them, they don't work out. Get rid of them just as fast.
yeah, faster. Be methodical in your hiring. Don't just hire the first person off the street. Trust your gut 100%. Start a process. It's not as if any operations person is going to dive in on day one and start analyzing rate structures. And it's like, okay, there's a process, right? Start calling this lane. We need this rate. Get me rates. And they're kind of moved in slowly. By the time you'll know exactly if it's the type of person or not in order to move in. Right.
Yeah.
And then, before you do that, go to your main ops person and what are we doing right? What are we doing wrong? What can we improve on? Because you don't want to bring a second person into a mess.
With any bad
You want to
vibes.
bring them into a structure.
No unfinished business. I agree.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Nigel, our man from overseas over the pond. Stability of account this is a lot easier when success criteria are set above. Everyone knows where they need to be. Always work on the next agreement. I love that. I love that. I think that is, absolutely. And it's that process where if you as a salesperson with your ops team hand in hand are working towards that better goal, oh man, like that synergy just is awesome.
Right.
It's awesome.
That's that moment.
Yes,
it really is.
Come on, busting out the moment on Monday morning, brother, before 10 o'clock. I love that. Hayden says, woke up in a rough mood, open LinkedIn to catch Dan and DJ, mood enhanced. There we go, brother.
Yeah, thank you, Hayden.
Hey, you know what? That mood might have been caused by all that red meat y'all was eating on the weekend.
Oh,
man. I don't know if y'all saw that, but man, that looks so good.
He had that smothered in soap.
I'm hungry now. I'm telling you. Thomas, good morning, brother. Salespeople can talk themselves out of a sale. 100%. Salespeople can talk themselves out of their ops team believing in them.
Yes.
Like, forget a sale. Here's the thing is, let me ask you this, okay? And it's kind of a loaded question. So everyone out there, think of the answer to this. What's more important to you, sales or ops?
Honestly, for you, are you asking me?
No, I'm not. No.
Okay, I didn't know if you were asking me. You said everybody else. I was waiting.
I'm saying, DJ, I need your answer on this. What's more important, sales or ops? Are you asking me? No,
ops is most important for me, just because. That's the experience that you're giving the customer. So, like, the sale is just the beginning, but really, the relationship and actually the fun parts are the ops side of it. So, yeah, I think that's when.
So I agree.
Ops is more important to me.
Ops is way more important. Without ops, I can't make a sale.
We're screwed. It doesn't matter how many sales you have. No. You can have 1 million, but if your ops are shit, like, you're done.
And here's the thing. Selling your ops team is way more difficult than selling a customer. And, I had my ops team. I remember I had a team lead. She was spectacular. And I remember saying to her, when you have free time, why don't you try making some sales calls? Right. We can throw some commission your way and do everything. She goes, I can't do sales. I go, Sherry, you're like one of the best salespeople in here. She goes, what? I'm in ops. I go, no, you're selling all day, every day. And I go, you might not think of it because you might not, she did, but she wasn't at the point where she was like, 100% 100% 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100% chasing trucks all day. Like she dealt with more of the dedicated accounts and managed the team, right?
Yeah.
And um, she was like spectacular. Like nothing got by her, which was
Oh
the
man.
best part about it, right? Like somebody would say, "Oh yeah,"
I've seen
she's like, "No,
I've
no,
seen
no,
some
hold
good
on.
ops
10
people like that.
conversations ago, that
They're
wasn't what you told me."
yes,
And just like
they're
smart
so
as a whip.
good.
And she would be the one that would sell all the strategy. But she never realized it. And to me, that said something to me because as an ops person, you are like the backbone, the engine and the transmission of the vehicle.
You're what makes the
And
car
without
go.
any of it, it don't run. It sits
That's
on
right.
blocks and it gets its rims ripped off and it gets used for
The
parts.
sales team just brings the passengers to the boat. You got to get it moving.
100%. And that is that is key for every salesperson to understand. And when you do understand that, and when you live in your business, that ops is super important. It will change your business because
Yes.
happy people perform better. And when people are respected, admired, and know they're worth something,
Yes.
and trust me, everyone, I'm
I'm so
telling
glad
you
you
right
said that.
now.
Everybody who does have an ops team, send out a message this morning.
Mhm,
Thank them. Thank
mhm,
them for what they do. Get on the
mhm.
same page, but just thank them and watch how different this week is.
Because I guarantee you, you walk into any company, most of the ops are unappreciated. Guaranteed. Guaranteed. And you might, people might think, oh, other company, it's not. It's like it's. I don't know. And again, I know I'm walk into almost any company. That's a very broad and probably um, screwed up statement, but I believe it to be true. Let me rephrase that then, DJ. In my opinion,
In your opinion, that's right.
in
We
my
all have
opinion,
that.
yes, 100%. So Thomas says, rated PG conversation. Yeah, right there. Yes, sir.
You
Lisa
know,
says, it took me to have my own baby Kelsey to do it. Yes. Yes. Because that's when you had to let go and allow somebody else to manage that business day to day when you had a baby because you had
yeah.
priorities. I'm not fearful of that, though. It's more fearful of myself and ability to do it. So you have the ability to do it, Lisa. I know
Yes.
you personally. Let's call a spade a spade. You need to get out of your own way. You have this ability, and you and Chad are going to rock the hell out of this
You
shit.
guys are killing
You
it.
just got to allow yourself to do it. And just, again, walk to that edge of uncertainty. Take a breath and take the step. Because it's going to be the best thing you've ever
Jump.
done. And you know what? I feel it because I'm at that crossroads in my business
Yeah.
where
Yeah.
it's like
Yeah.
we need people in the business, and it's like you're piecemealing everything and you're hoping it all comes together, and that's
Yeah.
what the next phase for me is
Growth.
that complete ecosystem in my business to be its own ecosystem and create and generate everything inside the company. And that's
Yes.
what you need to do, and you guys both are at that position. Excuse me, Lisa. You need to make a move, and you need to make it now, and it's going to be the best move you ever made. Will it come with challenges? Sure, everything comes with challenges.
Of course.
Every piece of sorry, every piece of growth comes with a new challenge, but that new challenge is actually a new opportunity to grow and to be more, do more, and achieve more, to make better choices. And that's the
Yes.
best way I could put it. Lisa says, I know that's crazy. Laugh out loud. Fearless. Yes, like I said this weekend,
Yes.
100%.
Be fearless.
Yes, cleaned up business. Perfect. Nigel, I can go home. I made DJ and Dan sing.
Yes. Ah, there it is
Yeah. Uh,
again.
if there is not solid ops, then you can't sell confidently. 100%. Like,
Mm,
think of how many times we've
mm.
had ops problems and we go to make a sales call and we stop. And we're like, man, for some reason, I
Shit.
can't make any
Can
sales
I do
calls.
this?
And in
Yeah.
your head, you're going, like, even if I made a sales call and I closed an account, fucking ops wouldn't be able to do
They're gonna
anything
screw
with
it
it.
up. Yeah, don't think that. Oh no,
Mm.
you need to fix this before you make that next call.
And anything you do in this industry, you must bring an S and OP into the mix when dealing with a customer. I have proved it. It minimizes issues and maximizes relationships. Yeah, standard operating procedures. They're key. I mean, you know what? Like your standard operating procedures is pretty much your sales calls amalgamated into one,
Yeah.
right? Like if you're going through your sales, and you're going through your processes and your sales calls, you understand what the customer needs when, because it's part of how you rate the customer. The customer needs updates every 2 hours. That rate's going to be higher than somebody who needs a rate every second day, or an update every second day, right? Because now you have to employ somebody to update every 2 hours. So all the way through that sales process, if you document everything accordingly, you've got a standard operating procedure for this customer, right? You amalgamate that with your standard operating procedures in your company. Now you've got an SOP for your customer. And they're mandatory because, like Jeff said, you want to minimize issues. You bring a new ops person into play. Now you have SOPs for your customers. Now there's zero downtime, because if they're not sure of something and your lead is like on the phone or something, they just pull out the SOPs. Oh, this is what I got to do. Okay, let's go. And there's always that reference guide, right? Always. And whether
nice
that
to
be
have
on
a
like,
map. It's nice to have a map.
Yeah, whether that be on like a Google shared drive, or, a Dropbox drive or something. Because if you're not necessarily in the same office, like we used to have binders, SOP binders. And anytime a new ops would come in, it was like, okay, here's the training, and they'd already been trained by the company, but here's your training for client specific. And if there's any questions, you just reference it right here. And they pull it out. Okay, perfect. And it allowed for a smoother process. Right. And a lot of the times, this is where a lot of the confusion and frustration comes in, because a lot of our ops team, it's all up here. It's never on paper. So when it's up here, it's easy. But when you just know what to do as opposed to explaining, by the time you explain it, you could already do it. And that's where, like, I think anything in life for us, like I know myself included, it's like, okay, how do I do chemicals in the hot tub? And it's like, I'll just do it because it's easier for me to do it than explain it to you and have to explain it to you 4 or 5 times, because there's like chemicals in a hot tub is a very technical thing. And it took me, an entire summer to learn it. And then almost like 5 summers to refresh myself on it. So internally, until I stop and say, okay, what is the long game? And I guess this is the question for all you salespeople is, what is the long game? And if the long game is you don't want to do ops, then you got to do everything in your power now to take that time to train everybody to be mirror images of yourself, because that's what the customer is expecting. Right. So for me, when it came to that hot tub thing, it's like, okay, I'm going to take the time and train every week my son, my wife on the chemicals and what needs to be done. Because if I'm out doing something else, at least that gets done.
At least it's getting done.
And that's, I think, the bigger picture, right, DJ, is we can't live in the now. It's like, okay, we're going to hire an ops team. What do I want a year from now?
Yeah.
Where do I want to be 3 months from now? Yep. And if it's not in that ops, do yourself a favor and take an hour a day and help them get up to speed faster, so then you can move 10 times faster on the back end. Right. And it's frustrating sometimes, man. Is it ever?
Oh yeah.
But I think you're missing a big opportunity in your business if you don't do it. Right.
Agreed.
Jeff says, now that's no, Dan, that's sales and ops. What he's talking about.
Oh, okay.
SOPs are very important too. Oh, sales and I thought Jeff was talking about SOPs. He's talking about sales and ops into the mix. I love that. Sorry, Jeff. I just figured when you were typing, you hit the and sign by mistake. Lisa says, fitting this into my schedule today. Thank the team. Yeah, that's huge.
Huge. I'm telling you.
Huge.
Watch what happens. All right, guys. All right. But hey, we got a good week, Dan. Oh, man, this is going to be a fun week.
Oh, this week is tomorrow. Rico Rakoski, our main man in choice. Rico, have you read the book yet? Did you read it yet?
Love it. Thank you, Rico. Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Yeah. Rico's visuals are crazy. How we do it.
Yes. And Rico, thank you. You are the man. I can't wait to talk to you tomorrow.
But did you also see? So, did you get? These are probably some of my most favorite things. So DJ or Rico, when he sent DJ and I books, he's got just 2 choices. And I actually have, so it's funny because I have one of these in my pocket all the time. And it actually, this wears off, and I actually draw with Sharpie a sad face and a happy face. And so what this is meant to be is a symbol. And again, join us tomorrow, because Rico is the champ.
Change your life.
And he talks about just 2 choices. So in any given moment, every second of every day, we have choices. We only have 2. And some people say, no, you got more. And he goes, no, you only have 2.
No.
See, before you can decide what dessert you want, you have to decide if you want dessert or not. Now, once you want dessert or not, now you decide if you want cold or warm. Then you decide if you want chocolate or, sweet or salty.
Exactly.
Then, and our brain actually it's zeros and ones. Everything okay. And here's the crazy thing. You know what we're doing right now is all a series of zeros and ones.
Yep.
That is code. Everything we do is a series of zeros and ones. So these little things for me, I mean, I love these things.
I love it, especially if I get that gut feeling. Now, thank you, Rico. If I get that feeling of like, oh, I don't like this, I'll just pull that thing out. I keep it in my pocket too, and I'll pull that. Well, I could either be mad or happy. I could be So, yes, super exciting. I can't wait.
It's going to be a great
so we got Rico tomorrow. We got Dean, of course, Wednesday. We got Thursday. We got.
Hold on. We got Dean and Ken.
Is Ken? Oh my gosh.
We got the Forceman on Wednesday. It's going to be a killer show Wednesday.
Live.
And then aren't we Andrea Waltz on Thursday?
Yeah, Andrea Waltz is
from Go for No. Oh, man. And then we got Wins and Losses Friday. We should actually see if Mark's around to come back for a second Wins and Losses Friday, because then they would make this week. Yeah, we got some serious stuff happening this week.
It's gonna be a fun
Reserve
week,
the time, 9 to 9:30 daily for the show.
That's right, 9:30 Eastern Standard Time. Join us if you want to start your week right, start your day right, and just get on the right page. Dan, you're not going to believe this. I swear, I had this one picked up already too. This is
okay. So go.
And
it's called synchronicity, brother.
I did not know if our talk was going to go this way, but it did. I love this, by the way. So obviously, Tom Brady, the GOAT, he is amazing. He proved he maybe doesn't need Bill Belichick, but I think his ideas is what molded Tom Brady into the amazing quarterback he is and the GOAT. But this is a quote from Bill Belichick. Mental toughness is doing the right thing for the team when it's not the best thing for you. Remember the team, guys. It's all about team. Thank you, team.
To the HPLS podcast. Live, relevant, and high performance information, conversations, and education.